Hey guys, it's Jack Punkington here. And as a heads up for anyone who's not really a guitar geek, this video might not be for you and it's going to be a little bit long. I apologize for that and I hope you guys enjoy it. But, onto the main video. Now, a little bit of backstory. Back when I was in high school, is when I really started working on my guitar skills. I started in middle school and drove it through high school. Most of the things I did was practice daily for hours. And I only had my Fender American Strat. Well, even at certain points, I didn't even have that. My first guitar was a pink Oscar Schmidt guitar. Yes, it was pink. It wasn't my idea. It was my dad's. After that, I had a Squier Strat Bullet, and I traded both of those for a nice Ibanez Geo, which I traded for an Epiphone Les Paul, which I had for a week, took back, and then bought my Fender Strat. And after my Fender Strat, I spent 2 years saving up to buy a Gibson because I'm a Gibson guy. It's my favorite style. But when I was searching for what I should I buy a Les Paul or an SG? I had the thought of what's better for my style of music. At the time I played more bluesier stuff, but it's been shown that, you progress through your playing style and you try different things. And now I play an array of different things. And now I'm fortunate enough to have both guitars. While they aren't both Gibsons, one is a Gibson Les Paul and then the other one is an Epiphone SG, they're still close enough in comparison that I can do a review on them. Or not a review, a comparison video. And the reason why one might be better than others in one aspect comparatively to the other. First, I'm going to do a spec on each. I'll start off with the Epiphone SG because it's the more affordable of the two. Now, the SG is iconic. You guys seen this guitar, especially if you listen to AC/DC. This is the rock guitar. This is the I want to rebel. I want to be angsty. I want to be where the hell, like all that good stuff. This is that guitar. This is the guitar that people think when they think of like classic rock, when they think of anything really. I mean, and many different guitar players besides Angus Young have had this. Jimi Hendrix had one of the first SGs. The lead singer and guitar player from Sum 41 would sport an SG. Jimmy Page had a double neck SG. So, everyone's got their preference. And for spec-wise, what we've got here is an Epiphone G400 Pro. I've done a review on it, and I'll put a link in the description of that video. For body, we've got a nice, I'd say this is mahogany, a nice mahogany body. One piece, but it's very thin. It's a thin piece guitar. Epiphone Burstbucker pickups, 2 pneumatic roto bridge, Grover tuners, and that's about it. Maple neck and rosewood fingerboard. Now, like I've said, this is an Epiphone and this is a Gibson, but they're still decent enough that I can compare. By contrast, we have here my Gibson Les Paul. This thing I've had for years. This I've only had for about a month, but this thing I've had for years. I've worked with this guitar. I know this guitar. I've worked on this guitar. I've done a lot to this guitar. And I just like it. Gibson chambered mahogany, so it's not one solid piece like this. It has not holes drilled into it, but different there's just big pockets of air in it, so it's not as heavy. I put on a Bigsby, an actual Bigsby on it myself. 2 pneumatic bridge, Kluson Gibson tuners, mahogany body, Pretty sure this is a mahogany neck. And a rosewood fingerboard. And Gibson pickups. All I've done is removed the covers. And I've worked on replaced the input jack before with, this is a different input jack. But besides that, Gibson Les Paul. I believe this is an 05 studio. It's either an 05 or an 07. 07. Yeah, this is an 07. And I believe this is an 05 or an 06. Gibson made, or USA made. And then this is, I think this is Indonesian. This is either nope, China. Now, besides this, Gibson Les Paul, arguably more iconic than the SG. In my opinion, the Les Paul is more iconic. The granddaddy, the father before the SG, because when the SG came out, it was the next guitar after the Gibson Les Paul. Jimmy Page, Joe Bonamassa, Dave Grohl. I mean, everyone uses these. And everyone loves these. They're great guitars. Now, which one's better for which kind of music? I am going to play a little bit on each through a clean. I'm not going to do like full this pickup and this pickup, but just kind of a sound for each on a clean and a dirty setting. I'm running through a tube amp because I wanted to get a classic sound. And the tube amp is as classic as you can get. It's my PV Valve King 112. And it's amazing, in my opinion. We will start off with the SG. And we'll start off on a nice clean tone. Now, an SG is thinner, it's lighter, and it's smaller. It's very snappier. If I were to compare it to like Fender, I would say this is a Telecaster and that's a Stratocaster. I know that's really bad comparison, and no, it doesn't work. But I kind of say it that way because a Telecaster is more twangier than a Strat. And this is definitely more twangier than this. But you can play your clean stuff. Play jazz. You can play blues on it. A lot of people don't think you can for some reason. I'm not sure why. Part of it's kind of the design. It's a more extreme design from a Les Paul. Now I'll go to a nice gainy setting. Right away, very sharp. You can see why a lot of punk musicians do use this. So you can use it for a nice... Now I'm not using any effects at all, excluding the amp reverb. But this thing has sustain for days as well. musicians that also use this, from AC/DC to Jimi Hendrix to Black Sabbath, where you've got Tony Iommi playing his more garage, I don't want to say garage, more thicker, weirding sound kind of metal. You certainly can use it for that, and it's a great guitar. Now I'm switching over to the Les Paul, which, like I have stated before, is considered the granddaddy. It's considered like the most iconic guitar, rivaled only by the Stratocaster. And like the SG, we will start off on a clean sound. Now, due to the fact that it's a thicker body, even though it is weight relieved, it has more of a thicker sound than the SG. And you can do a lot with this, from nice blues all the way to jazz, and metal to pretty much any kind of comparison that I will say is, since the SG is more of a brighter sounding guitar, you can get a crap ton of pinch harmonics on this compared to that. You can still get them on here, but it's less likely. I get pinch harmonics all day long on this, so whenever I'm trying to go for like a more metal sound, I actually go towards my SG, and when I'm going for a nice like blues or garage rock, I go towards my Les Paul. Now I was thinking about using the Tanglewood for this video, but I had changed my mind due to the fact that this is considered a true Les Paul, because it's a Gibson Les Paul. If I were to do like the Tanglewood, I can't really call that a Tanglewood Les Paul, because it's not a Les Paul. That is the downfall. If you have an SG in any other company, it's an SG. But this is a Les Paul. This is the Les Paul, the most iconic guitar out there, arguably. So, but in terms of tones, if you want to go for metal and you want something light, something that's not going to hurt your back, an Epiphone SG is going to do, an SG in general is just going to do it. I actually prefer my Epiphone to Gibsons that I have played, but I've not tried the SGJ yet, and I'd like to. If you want something that you can do a little more thicker tone stuff, that's a little more iconic, that's a little bit heavier, Les Paul. Now, no one is truly better. It's all about personal preference. If you're a smaller person, a lot of people go towards an SG because it's smaller. Like, that's part of the reason why Angus Young used it. But if you're a bigger person, sometimes you go towards Les Paul. I'm a very tall guy, so I like a Les Paul. But I like an SG too, so. Anyway, both are great sounding guitars, both are really fun, and both of these versions are affordable. I mean, there's whole used prices. This one I actually traded for. I think they wanted about $400 for, which is fair. This one I got used with case, was $565, brand new. When it came out, it was over $1,000 without the case. So it was just over $1,000, like with tax. So no one is truly better than the other. It's all due to preference. But they're both amazing sounding guitars that you guys should definitely check out. I hope you guys enjoyed this little fun video I wanted to do. So I will see you guys later. This is Jack Punkington signing up. Peace!